regard every arbitration as ArbMed, in the sense that you arbitrate and decide the issues between the parties and you mediate the procedure.
Case management conferences can be a great way for a tribunal to engage with the specific needs of a case, get up to speed and explore different ways that you could tailor the proceedings and also to resolve disputes that arise more efficiently. There's just something about having everybody on the line together, even if it's virtually.
Something that I sort of learned the hard way back in the day, that if you're in international arbitration, you need to leave your domestic baggage at the door. And psychologically, that's a really hard thing for lawyers who have a busy domestic practice as well as an international practice. Rethink.
Sometimes this is a bit of a gripe from people who receive lengthy awards where the procedural part of the award is half of it, and the substantive is only the other half.
We certainly had to keep our client comfortable on the costs point of the hard copies and the notary.
One thing that people might say to you is, look, you can't be a specialist in everything. You've just got to pick your track. Are you being a commercial litigator or commercial arbitrator, or are you doing investment work, or are you doing interstate work? Because you can't do all of those things at the same time and be good and credible in them. I just wonder what your views are on that.
Well, I would strongly disagree with that, and I suspect you would as well.
I also think that a number of parties to arbitrations, particularly the repeat users, the big multinational companies, through their own diversity policies now realise that diversity and quality is not a dichotomy, that actually diversity works in the service of quality.
But I think part of the problem is that such detailed procedural calendars, timetables, are being set down at such an early stage before any pleadings have gone in.
I suppose that's where litigation finance comes in. It can manage those cases, but I suppose its use and its deployment is far broader than that.
What I tell my team is, if you want to go big in international arbitration, you have to understand litigation funding. It's not optional, it's mandatory. It is an expected field of knowledge for international arbitration lawyers today. Litigation funders, of course, invest in good cases, right? That much is obvious. But the reality of litigation funders is they invest in good people.
And that's where I found that having a lawyer who is commercial about a case, who's flexible about thinking about how to structure a case, that is worth gold. And what I can say,
the problems which I see more and more of, and which I think is quite disturbing, is that I think arbitral decision making has become rather ideological.
Well, I agree with all of that. I think in terms of the coherence issues and the cost, there really is no easy solution. While there are discussions about significant overhauls of the system with the multilateral investment court or bilateral investment courts, I think there's still a long way coming if there's even the political will or ability to make that happen. So
the development goal for this work was largely directed at improving foreign direct investment flows. I can tell you that in Tonga, which required the legislation to be in both Tongan and in English, there was no word in Tongan for arbitration, so they had to invent an actual word for arbitration.
And I think then that's what's really important, is to educate the local lawyers about the arbitration process so they gain enough knowledge and then slowly gain the experience to understand that they can use the process in an efficient way to manage and then resolve these low value disputes.